Wednesday morning, Chief Meteorologist Eric Wilhelm back with you with an update on today's severe weather potential. I'm up bright and early this morning to check out the latest data and talk with you about what we can expect later today, although there's still a fair amount of uncertainty as to this event reaching its full potential. We'll, explain momentarily. First, a broad view of things. Some of us have had a couple of showers overnight, and before the early morning hours are through, there can certainly be a thunderstorm in a couple of spots. I'll show you a closer radar view in just a second. The dew point temperatures will become a story today, along with the air temperatures. Now, we had a break from the humidity on Tuesday with dew points lowering into the 50s, but some higher dew point air is starting to push to the north and to the east, and all this really soupy air out here across parts of Indiana, western Kentucky. Dew points are up in the middle and upper 60s. That's going to track our way today, and it's just amazing the changes that we're going to see over the next 36 hours or so, with a very July-like afternoon today, followed by instant October coming our way on Thursday in the wake of our front. A little bit of a closer radar view this morning showing there's not a lot as of this recording at 7:56, but some heavier thunderstorms lurking up towards Cleveland, and in our television viewing area, there can certainly be a thunderstorm in spots before about 9 a.m., and then we'll dry things out for several hours, the sun will come out, and it will turn hot and humid. Here's the updated outlook from the Storm Prediction Center today, the severe weather outlook. If you've watched my content before, you know I like to think of this as kind of a 1 to 5 scale. We even have these numbers down in the corner of the screen down here. Slight risk, the yellow color, which encompasses all of eastern Ohio and western PA, that's a 2 on that 1 to 5 scale. The Storm Prediction Center actually considered going to an enhanced risk, a 3 on that 1 to 5 scale in parts of the region with their overnight outlook, but they decided against it because there has been some model inconsistency. And I talked about this some on social media last evening, on 21 News at 11, and on my Weather for Weather Geeks video. Some inconsistency with some of our high-res modeling. Some of the modeling just does not want to show a whole lot of activity cropping up, even though we have a lot of pretty good ingredients out there today for severe weather, including isolated tornadoes. Here's a look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook for tornadic activity today, the percentages. And if you look carefully, here's our region, the brown area in northeast Ohio, northwest PA, extreme southwest New York. That's a 5% risk of a tornado within 25 miles of any one location within that area. That gets our attention. We don't have a lot of days throughout the year in which we're in a 5% tornado risk contour. We have some ingredients today for hail, straight line damaging winds, but also isolated tornadoes. But it's not a slam dunk. We've still got more uncertainty than I would like for being this close to an event. We're going to show you a simulated radar product here from one of our models, just one, and I'll actually show you 2 models this morning. You get 2 for the price of 1. But just know that meteorologists, the National Weather Service, broadcast meteorologists and throughout the weather enterprise, we pour over a lot of different types of data, a lot of different models, a lot of different runs of different models. But we're just going to give you a little sampling here of what some of the modeling is trying to show this morning. Our activity pushes away, nothing goes on for several hours, and then boom, as we get into the early to mid-afternoon, here's a look at one model depiction of the radar at about 4 o'clock. Let me actually change the format over here so you can, this is a more readable clock format. Here we go at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Couple of segments of thunderstorms erupting and starting to push to the south and east. Individual little supercells or line segments, little clusters, will probably try to congeal. If they form, they'll probably try to congeal into more of a line as we go deeper into the late afternoon and into the early evening. So here's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and by this point, whatever happens, we should be pretty much getting out of the woods by just after sunset. But as you can see, this model depiction, 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, we have a pretty good line coming through with the potential for severe weather. Here's another high-res model. Again, clock time's over in the corner of your screen, and here's a look. This model has things going a little bit later, starting to erupt a little bit later. So here's 6 o'clock. It's just now entering our northern viewing area. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, we're pretty much out of the woods. So it's a little bit later with the arrival of things, but it does indeed have storms getting going. It's interesting, some of our other modeling, I told you I'd show you 3 different models, or 2 different models. I'm going to show you 3 because I wanted to draw the contrast here between some of our high-res modeling, even at this late stage of the game. Here's one of our most used models, updated every hour, and ever since late last evening, it's been trying to kind of poo-poo things. In other words, here's the simulated radar at 6 o'clock this evening on this model. Where's the storms? So what's going on here with some of our modeling is trying to pick up on a tenuous layer of air, a couple of thousand feet above our heads, that's a little bit warmer and a little bit too warm for the most efficient rising motions in the atmosphere. If air tries to rise but runs into a layer of air that's a little too warm, it's going to stop rising real fast. And that would prevent this event from reaching its full potential, and perhaps even would prevent a lot of storms from even forming in the first place. There's low confidence as of 7 a.m. that this scenario, the lack of storm scenario, would end up being right. I don't want to discount it. I can't rule out that this ends up being just a total dud thanks to that kind of tenuous layer aloft. I don't think that's the most likely scenario, but we can't take that off the table at this point. So the message I want you to take away from this video is we still have a pretty high-end potential today. The atmosphere will be loaded for bear as we get into the afternoon. Hot, humid, lots of wind energy aloft. The question is, will there be subtle little atmospheric ingredients that make it so we can't fully bake our cupcakes? We have a lot of ingredients for cupcakes today, if you think of cupcakes as severe weather. We have a lot of ingredients, but we might be missing one, and that would prevent our cupcakes from turning out really nice. If we didn't put enough sugar into our batter to make cupcakes, then they're not going to turn out that great. This may be a situation today where we have a lot of ingredients for severe weather, but maybe, just maybe, we get off easy. We're let off the hook by maybe the lack of 1 or 2 key ingredients. We've got a lot to keep track of today. The potential is there for damaging winds, hail, even isolated tornadoes if all the ingredients end up coming together. We don't want to rule out at this point also that this event ends up being kind of a no big deal kind of a thing. Either way, big change is coming our way with a dramatic cool down coming Thursday, and we're going straight into fall for several days, taking us into early next week, and we'll have all that covered for you on our various newscasts and social media outlets throughout the day today. Thanks for watching this morning. Look for more updates from me throughout this Wednesday.